2, 1. Oh my goodness gracious. I can't believe it. Can you believe it? Episode 162 of Marketing as a Foreign Language. Big news of the day is that we are now streaming live on Twitch. And, okay. All right, Facebook 2050 is one of the big pieces of news today. Because it's not news, you know what it actually is? It's an understanding of what Facebook could look like in the future. 14-year-old with a master's degree, entrepreneur. How did she do it? How is she so incredible? Google Cloud lost over $5 billion. We're going to dive into that. And faking your way to online fame on Instagram. I do have to say, very happy to be live on Twitch, as well as my personal Facebook. Business Facebook. And of course, YouTube. You know what it's time for? Pretty sure it's time for an introduction. Hit it. Now, before we dive in, I do have to give a shout out to my Twitch folks. You see, for about 6 months, I would every single day hop on to Twitch, and I shouldn't say day, it was nighttime, and I would play chess, and it was one of the most fun times of my life. And then today I was on Restream and I took a look at Twitch, and boom, there's an option to stream live on Twitch. So very excited to be doing that. Now, this first article that we're going to cover today is a little bit weird. Forbes.com has a writer who talks about his predictions of what Facebook could look like. Let's dive in. Facebook just reported surging profits, which served to make it even more hated. Even before the storming of the U.S. Capitol, for which Facebook stands accused of both having, quote, blood on its hands and censoring free speech, federal and state regulators had filed antitrust suits to break it up. A widely shared article in The Atlantic called it a doomsday machine. Writing here at Forbes several years ago, I noted how Alan Kay, the computing pioneer, referred to Facebook and similar platforms as, quote, disastrous and possible final danger, whatever that means. So I thought this article was about, there we go. So rather than jumping on the doomsday bandwagon, I'll build on several past articles to offer an inspirational future history outlining how Facebook helps save us from ourselves. Okay, so that's what this is all about. Again, it's Forbes.com. Check out the description if you want a link to the article. So San Francisco, February 3rd, 2050. We leap ahead in time. Shortly after his daughter Max was born in 2015, Zuckerberg, Facebook's former chairman and CEO, wrote her a letter committing to make the world she grew up in dramatically better than the one into which she was born. At her first quarterly analyst meeting today, Max Zuckerberg, Facebook's new CEO, harkened back to that letter as she reported strong profitable growth and even greater contributions to social good. This is so funny. So here we have, what is it? It's 2021, so 29 years from now. Who thinks that Facebook is going to be owned by Max Zuckerberg? Do we think that this is going to be a dynasty of some sort? It wouldn't surprise me if these global companies had this sort of dynastic quality, kings and queens, that sort of thing. Wouldn't be the most surprising thing on planet Earth. That being said, if I had to bet whether or not I think Facebook will be inherited, I'd bet against it. But perhaps I'm just 100% wrong. I mean, I wonder if I don't know if Jeff Bezos has kids, but you could only imagine that this sort of inherited wealth could just be, it could be absolute rocket fuel on the fire of the revolution we are currently seeing. I unfortunately don't have all of the nuance of what's going on with Reddit and GameStop, but it seems like a financial revolution to me. So, quote, "We will do our part to make this happen," the elder Zuckerberg wrote 35 years ago, quote, not only because we love you, but also because we have a moral responsibility to all children in the next generation. So I know that folks have very visceral reactions to Facebook. Some people love it, and some people absolutely hate it. I often talk about my long-lost sister, Dr. Hoffner Prilliman, who I would not know today if it were not for Facebook. It literally, the connectivity that it provides allowed for me to meet my sister, who I had never known my entire life until 33 years of age. It's a wild story, but shout out to Facebook for making that happen. Now, again, there's an endless list of things that Facebook could improve upon. And this particular author for this Forbes.com article is clearly looking at a future wherein not Mark Zuckerberg, but this Max Zuckerberg daughter knocks it out of the park. Let's keep reading. So, quote, millions of people read that letter before I could even read, observed Max Zuckerberg in her opening remarks. Then they mostly forgot about it, especially in the dark years of my youth when Facebook was branded a doomsday machine and my dad was public enemy number one, quote, but mom and dad never forgot that promise, and they instilled that sense of moral responsibility in my sister August and me from our earliest years. So I think this is probably one of the biggest critiques of Facebook, which is, given that they have such a massive global influence, aren't they morally responsible to shut down hate speech? Aren't they morally responsible to stop threats in their track? Aren't they morally responsible to be moral? We are killing it on views, by the way, in YouTube. Very excited with the number of folks tuning in today. Thank you very much, everyone, for hitting the like button. It means the world to me. And then, we got a viewer on Twitch, too. I'm absolutely tickled pink. 14-year-old with a master's degree. This is blackenterprise.com. Young environmental scientist Dorothy Jean Tillman garnered national attention when she received her master's degree at 14 years old. Loving it. Brad Hess in chat. Howdy to you, sir. Good to see you. Now, the Chicago teen is breaking into entrepreneurship by exposing more youth to opportunities in STEAM. She is giving more Chicago youth a head start in life by showing them what's possible. Quote, I know one thing that I would want every kid to know is that what I did is an option and that they can do it too. That, of course, is a master's degree at 14 years old. I got mine at 23, and I thought I was special. So said Tillman to Rolling Out. Quote, it doesn't take a genius or something who has been learning forever. I'm not perfect. I'm not the smartest person in the world. It just takes dedication, and this is obviously true. Esther in chat writes, I was here first, Brad. So Brad, Esther, feel free to duke it out. The 14-year-old has always had a passion for STEM, obtaining high rankings in all of those subjects in school. This inspired her to pursue a master's degree at Unity College. Tillman made history as the youngest environmental and sustainable scientist in the U.S. Her desire to expand opportunities is stronger than ever since COVID-19 has eliminated many traditional activities for youth. So, as I've mentioned many times on the show before, it is, we are on the cusp of, it's not even a digital revolution, it's the internet as a utility revolution, which is to say that there are Harvard lectures that you can take today for free, and probably should. And it is not surprising to me that these degrees that feel like they should occur at 23, 26 graduate degrees, 18, etc., are going to occur much, much earlier. I actually met someone not too long ago who got her master's at 19, and she actually had trouble finding a job because for some reason employees were, it was very strange, the reason she gave, but she did struggle. I don't know if it was just because of work experience or what the deal was. Obviously, very, very bright lady. So point being that we're going to see a lot more of this, and shout out to everyone that is pushing online learning forward. To bring this all back to business, LinkedIn, according to a friend of mine, Rich, we do martial arts in the park, this dude is making some cashola. He is very talented, and he says the LinkedIn courses are extraordinary. He says they are very, very good. We've covered the fact that there are free LinkedIn courses on the show before, do yourself a favor and check out LinkedIn if you want to learn a bit about a variety of topics from coding to social media marketing. Back to the article again, blackenterprise.com. The 14-year-old has always had a passion for STEM, obtaining high rankings in all those subjects in school. This inspired her to pursue a master's degree at Unity College, which we covered. Quote, I've been working on STEM labs for kids because I really want to go into the STEM-related field and work with kids, Tillman told Rolling Out prior to earning her master's degree. Quote, I feel like I'm here to make people happy and to help people find their purpose. You gotta love that. Also, if you want to have fun like Brad Hess and Esther Sass in chat, you got to be here for the live show, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, every single Monday through Friday, unless I'm sick. Good stuff. Next article, Google Cloud lost over $5 billion, billion with a B. Google Cloud lost $5.61 billion on a $13.06 billion of revenue. So, it always seems like Google is invulnerable. They, of course, are not. It is the first time Google has revealed operating income for its cloud unit. It comes 1 year after the company began breaking out revenue for the cloud business, which trails Microsoft and Amazon in market position. Wall Street has sought additional financial details surrounding the company's cloud investments, which have included hiring and acquisition sprees. So when you have so much money like Google does, you can obviously roll with the punches, but you've got to wonder about the internal struggle at Google as they push forward Google Cloud. Now, Google Drive is incredible. I love what they're doing there. So it's the first time the company revealed the operating income metric for its cloud business. This is from CNBC.com, by the way. Also, shout out. I'm going to do a shout out real quick before we dive into everything. We got Brad Hess with Ace Handyman Services. So if you're in the Las Vegas area, you definitely want to call him for any sort of handyman repair type deals. Great friend of mine, incredible human being. Esther Sass, of course, Sass Insurance. That's where you want to get all your insurance because Esther's amazing. Her assistant, I could say, Lisa, also incredible. And Duchess Rideshare, also in chat today. Much love to Duchess Rideshare. Women drivers, women passengers, currently in Las Vegas, Henderson, Summerlin, Paradise, but coming to a city near you shortly. So back to the article, the unit's losses appear to be growing as the company invests heavily in sales staff. The company said the cloud unit lost $4.65 billion and $8.92 billion in revenue in 2019 and lost $4.35 billion on $5.84 billion in revenue. Jeez, gnarly. So Wall Street has been seeking additional financial details. We get it. Short story, long story, Google Cloud losing some cashola. Final article of the day, faking your way to online fame on Instagram. This from CNBC.com as well. The lure of making large sums of money by posting pictures online has turned the job of being a full-time social media influencer into one of the most aspirational career choices for young people around the world. Now, obviously, when I was growing up, well, I shouldn't say obviously, this is not obvious to everyone. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to be a singer. So I became a singer. I was in a few bands, and that was sort of the allure. Tool, Maynard, James Keenan, Brandon Boyd from Incubus, Ed Kowalczyk from Live. These were my heroes, and I basically emulated them. That was the big idea. I think for today's youth, they see Preston. I don't know if you know Preston. Preston makes Minecraft videos, and he sells a number of things, makes a ton of money, obviously, on YouTube, sells merchandise, and my daughter is hook, line, and sinker. She's in love with Preston. Like, she wants to marry Preston. And, he's this charismatic, young man who, what he'll do is he'll create these incredible Minecraft worlds. And then in Minecraft, which my kids play religiously at this point, and I play as well, he'll sell these worlds, these little Preston worlds. And my daughter, in her head, she goes, oh, like, we're going to buy this Preston World, and we're going to be on his server, and we're going to meet him, right? He's going to be right there in the game. And it hurts my heart a little bit, because I go, okay, honey, well, probably not. Preston is probably not going to be there in this particular server. It's just in the mind of a child. It's like the distance between them and the folks that they idolize is just, there is no distance. They're friends, basically. And then as an adult, obviously, you look at these relationships and you go, oh, it's sad. I really wish she could meet Preston in person. I wish it wasn't so difficult to kind of connect those dots. We bought this, and she played it for a while, and she did have that moment of kind of sad, like, this isn't what I thought it would be. And I saw that coming during the whole interaction. And so, these influencers, obviously, they're going to make a ton of money. We are going to see, I hope we don't, but I imagine that we will see very similar kind of narrative from the Disney stars, who they can absolutely kill it. You know, you've got great examples, but the amount of pressure that these kids are under is insane. It's insane, the difficulty level. And everyone goes, yeah, but look at how much money you have. You're making millions, you know. Can you imagine being 16 and your parents are like prioritizing your YouTube video over everything else in your life? The sports no longer really matter. The academics, it's all second, third, fourth, fifth fiddle to the fact that you're getting 10 million views, 12 million views. You know, you're just raking in the cash, and you're making more money than your parents. And that dynamic, very few people live in that space. And so it can be an ostracizing journey. I wish everyone the best. I want them all to succeed. And then you have the whole entire, like, massive population of young kids who just emulate and want to be these people. So there you go. Influencers on Instagram, back to the article, who have over 1 million followers can make more than $250,000 per post. I'm going to read that again for you. Influencers on Instagram who have over 1 million followers can make more than $250,000 per post from brands, while someone like Kylie Jenner can make around $1 million for a single sponsored Instagram post. Now, HBO's new documentary, Fake Famous, which premieres on Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, aims to show just how easy it can be to game the social media economy in order to become a famous online influencer. Here's a look at some of the tactics. Quote, take random people with a tiny following online and turn them into famous influencers. Oof. So this is from Nick Bilton. He's a tactics writer-director, apparently. Spoiler alert, the experiment worked. Whoa. So basically, let's start buying followers. Quote, you don't have to go to the dark web or anything. You just go straight up the internet and you can buy pretty much anything you want, Bilton says in Fake Famous, as he takes out a credit card to buy thousands of fake followers or bots from the documentary's 3 subjects. Going through the website famoid.com, Bilton says he paid about $119.60 to buy about 7,500 followers and 2,500 likes for one of the doc's guinea pigs, actress Dominique Druckmann. The bot followers are an algorithm that pretends to be a real person on the internet. Wow. So this is the difference. So this is important for you to understand. There is a big difference between buying fake Facebook likes and doing what they just mentioned here. If you buy a fake Facebook like, what will happen is the reach of your Facebook posts will diminish incredibly, because the post will be shown to, say, 10 of your Facebook followers. If 90% of them are not real accounts, then you'll never get more than 1 or 2 likes ever again, because the algorithm will go, you have a bunch of followers, but nobody cares about you. So we don't care about you. Now, this is different. We're talking about a bot wherein the algorithm pretends to be a real person. Now, can this perhaps get you there? Yes. Things like this are always sketchy to me, because it's a cat and mouse game between Instagram, Facebook, and the deceivers, for lack of a better word. Because once the algorithm can flag fake accounts, they can come after your account. So that can result in bans, lost followers, lost expansion. Now, this works according to this documentary, Fake Famous, which I want to watch. Quote, these bots are created by hackers and programmers who write code that scour the internet to steal countless random identities from pilfering people's photos, names, and bios. That is unreal. Built-in estimates that there are hundreds of millions of bots online, and they can be used for any number of purposes, from foreign countries spreading misinformation, U.S. elections, to making people aspiring influencers, etc. Okay, we got Nikola Events coming in, 865. Welcome to the show. We're live on Twitch. You are, in fact, the first Twitch chatter that we've had on the show. Today we're talking about a number of things. Currently talking about faking your way to online fame. Show airs 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we'll wrap up in about 9 minutes. But thank you for swinging on by, Nikola, as we pretty much wrap up the show. But faking our way to online fame on Instagram. Also, you may not be able to see, but there is another chat going on as well on YouTube, which you can swing by if you want to. What I'm going to do in future episodes is I'm actually going to put the chat box up here now that we're getting a decent amount of chats. So everyone will be able to see what Nikola is saying coming at us from Twitch. We'll have the conversation on YouTube that will also be streaming here, and everyone will be kind of going for it. Nikola writes, I remember a website that shows how many fake followers you have on Instagram. Exactly. That is exactly right. So again, it is deadly sometimes to go down the black hat route. It can get really ugly really quick. So do be careful. Give you an example. Back in the day, we hired someone at a company that I used to work for, a marketing company. And they were doing something called article spinning. And so this is another black hat method, wherein you take an article and then in brackets, you just write synonyms. And so you would say the big, giant, huge, massive, and then you would finish the bracket and you would say cat. And then you would do another bracket and say walked, sauntered, ran, jogged, whatever, of synonyms. And then you would hit a button and it would create 200 articles. And each of them would be 60% unique or 70% unique, enough to pass Google's judgment. And this, of course, works until it doesn't. And once all of these articles are out there and all of these links are pointing back to your website, Google makes a change, your rankings tank. And so the black hat methods tend to be short-lived. Now, this documentary, which I want to see, Fake Famous, does talk about how they got it to succeed. So it is possible that you could use these methods to launch the initial idea. And once that initial idea is there, poof, you're good to go. But that being said, a word of caution. So if you were interested in exploring things like this, I would create an account that's dedicated only to that. Do not risk your business account. Do not risk your Facebook accounts, those sorts of things that you've been using for years. I have played a little bit in that space, but I am by and large a by the book, ethical, sort of marketer. You know what I'm saying? I have been to the Black Hat website. I've dug around. I will tell you this. What I did at one point is I created a small algorithm on Pinterest where it would go in robotically and it would search for like corgi or some kind of dog. And then it would follow people, but it would follow them on second intervals. So it would follow them every 37 seconds and then a minute and a half and then 4 seconds. And it would slowly follow people. And that's how I ended up getting thousands of followers for this side project I had. But again, side project. It goes away. It's no big deal because you do always run that risk. Nikola writes, I remember a website that shows how many fake followers you have on Instagram. Also, there's one on Twitch and spams. Exactly. Want to get famous? Go to XYZ link and buy free followers. So on Twitch, we see this all the time. People will come in to chat and they'll say, hey, get followers, this sort of thing. And they're trying to sell us. Obviously, that is usually how it goes. And that is true. So in the final minutes, we're going to summarize. But before we do, shout out to Nikola for joining us on Twitch. Shout out to Brad Hess, Esther Sass, and Duchess Rideshare for joining us. We very much appreciate it. Trust me, every single comment is invaluable when it comes to promoting the show. I genuinely appreciate it. Now that we're getting folks chatting, again, right above me, we're going to have this little chat box. That's going to be exciting. So I've got to remember to do that. Marketing is a Foreign Language is a live show every single 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you want to be a guest on the show, info at senditrising.com. That's info at senditrising.com. If you're listening to the podcast after the whole spiel is done for the live show, it's all good. Don't trip. We love every single viewer. Available on iTunes, Spotify, Deezer, and a ton of different platforms for podcasts as well. Please do comment. Please do like. It is very, very helpful. So let's summarize. Will Facebook 2050 be a utopia of positivity and morality? Well, as you can probably tell, folks are struggling to agree on what morality is. I like to think of Facebook as making the right decisions moving forward. They are more powerful than a lot of governments. They are a global force. There have never been forces that are as globally influential as there are today. Alphabet, which obviously owns Google, YouTube, TikTok, the Chinese influence, the fact that TikTok was banned by U.S. military because the Chinese government basically has all that data, and so they can tell that you took a TikTok on a tank in some region, and they're aggregating that data. So do I want utopia? Of course I do. But we shall see what unfolds for Facebook. 14-year-old with a master's degree, entrepreneur. Education will never be the same. Do not forget about online education. Continue to learn, continue to improve yourself, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship. Take inspiration from the fact that a 14-year-old can do it nowadays. Google Cloud lost over $5 billion. They are not invincible. And last but not least, faking your way to online fame versus Instagram. I will say this, if you know any kids in your life, any young folks, just be aware of the fact that they are being constantly hit up to be famous. My daughter wants a YouTube channel desperately. She wants to stream desperately. The game has completely changed. I mean, in my day, maybe you wanted a TV show. Maybe you thought that would be cool, but you kind of knew how rare that was. Now, anyone can. Anyone can simply hop on Twitch. Again, Caleb. What's up, Jason? How's it going, dude? I need to get the chat box figured out, which I will. Jason, sorry you showed up at the end of the show, but we will get this all figured out. 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the show for today. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. You know how it goes. We will see you then. So much outro, so much goodbye.